Today we're going to make chocolate soufflé torte that I've been making for the past 30 years, compliments of Raymond Rosasco. We have some high quality chocolate, good tart. It's really nice chocolate for baking and for making cakes. You see the ingredients there. It's 12 ounces of good chocolate, 12 eggs separated. You're going to end up whipping the whites to soft peaks and then folding them into the main base after you cook the yolks in. And so we're going to get started. I'm going to take the chocolate and butter, nice organic ingredients I've got today, and the 1 cup of sugar, and put them together into a double boiler that I've got on the stove. And we're preheating our oven to 325. I'm going to go ahead and put the convection fan on and let them come up that way. This is a really nice, dense chocolate cake. You see there's a lot of eggs in it and not a lot of sugar. This can be cut into either 12 or 16 pieces. What I like to do, just to keep it easy, go ahead and cut off about a foot of it, or 10 inches, fold it, get it on a cutting board, and then keep folding it in half this way. And then you can come to your torte pan and measure up from the middle. Be a little shy because you see the edges are on a little bit of an angle. This is a 10-inch torte pan, traditional cake torte pan, and you cut it. It's okay if it's a little shorter. And then you lay that in there, and what you want to do is take butter and get it sticking on one side so it gets where you want it. And then you rub butter all around the parchment so it's not going to stick to your cake afterwards. When you have it all around the parchment, go ahead and flip it and get it all over the other side so you can evenly distribute the butter so it sits that parchment nicely on the bottom. That way when the torte's done and you turn it upside down, you can peel this parchment right off of it. And you don't stand the chance of the cake sticking to the pan when you go to turn it out like this when it's done, and then it all comes out except one circle right here, and it totally ruins your whole cake. Has anyone ever done that before? I certainly have. Anyway, and then we set these aside and come check out our chocolate mixture. So you don't need to move it around too much. Just make sure that the butter is melting and that the chocolate's not getting too hot. The water shouldn't be boiling, just under simmering. And what you do is you take your egg whites, a little bit of lemon, and you want to whip them. A lot of people like to do figure eights. You can get the most air into them. And what we're going to do is we're going to get a lot of volume out of these. We could definitely put them in a KitchenAid. So all of you out there at this point, you're thinking, why is Dave doing this? I just want to show you that you can whip egg whites really easy in a bowl as well. So much volume already. We're at about double volume. Now this is a basic meringue, but we're not adding any sugar to this. The sugar's in the cake already. We're about triple volume. When your arm gets sore, switch arms. Good coordination drill. Kitchen cardio. And you want to whip them until we have soft peak. 4 times the volume. So just to where they start to stand up and they fall over. Get rid of all the lumps of chocolate. And the sugar is dissolving as the butter is melting. Chocolate is really actually quite good for you. We've proven. Promotes stearic acid, helps by being an antioxidant, and obviously has a huge amount of psychological and emotional benefits. We've melted our chocolate with our butter. There's no more chunks of chocolate left. You see just those last few bits of butter dissolving in there. There's one. Once that's gone, we're gonna go ahead and add our egg and cook the egg for about 2 to 3 minutes, the egg yolk into this, over this double boiler that's still not quite boiling. It's resting at about 180 degrees. Now that I see my sugar is dissolving and my butter is all melted, I'm going to go ahead and add my yolks, making sure to break them up and stir them really well. And we're going to go ahead, you can see it thicken right away. And we're going to go ahead and continue to cook for 2 to 3 minutes to fully cook those egg yolks over this low temperature. My eggs have been fully cooked. I'm going to go ahead and add my tablespoon of flour. Yeah, Ray taught me how to make this at Albion when I was 15. And what you do is you take about 1/3 of the egg whites and briskly fold it right in, not worrying too much. It's got to go right into it. At this point, you're really not trying to preserve the volume yet. What you're doing is simply incorporating the two mixes into one homogeneous mix. And then, once it's more like the egg whites and semi-mixed, we can fold the rest of it in there, which will help us keep the volume that we really want, which helps keep this cake really fluffy, yet dense, smooth and dense. So basically what you want to do is just fold in the egg whites. The principle is about quarter turns while you're incorporating air. Keep scraping down the sides, folding it back in, and just keep doing this. It takes about 3 to 4 minutes until you get a very even mix. Okay, once that's fully mixed in, drop it on the counter to get some of the air out of it, and bring it over to your already buttered torte tins. That's a killer shot. Evenly into the 2 pans. They go into a 325-degree oven that has a convection fan, or into a 350-degree still oven for the first 15 minutes, and then that still oven would go down to 325 for the next 15 to 20 minutes. The total baking time should be about 35 minutes on these. Upper shelf. 3 in a corner, confection. So we're going to check the cakes. Okay, it looks like they're close, but not quite. This one's definitely needs a little more time, but they're definitely mushrooming up, and you can see the holes. It starts to be porous around the outside. They need about another 5 to 7 minutes. So another 5 minutes. So you see how the cake starts to crack on the outside. You know it's done. It's starting to get a brown color. If we were to insert a toothpick, it would come out clean right now. I just know from experience from seeing all these holes and these cracks that it is done. If we go ahead and look at the other one, it hasn't quite cracked yet. We're just going to give it another 2 to 3 minutes because in this spot in the middle here, it's not quite fully souffled. Okay, the other one's now ready. You see it's risen. See it's starting to crack, a little brown on the very peak of the souffle. And now the cake deflate and cool. We can go ahead now and prepare the milk chocolate ganache. So I've got my 10 ounces of milk chocolate and 6 ounces of whipping cream. I'm going to go ahead and put them back into my double boiler bowl. It's still on the stove. I like to chill my whipping cream and whip and even bowl. Of course, you can go ahead and use other means of whipping, such as a KitchenAid or another type of a food processor. It's nice and cold, it'll go fairly quickly. It's going to get it a little bit thick before I add sugar. It's nice because you get to wear some of it. And add a little sugar, just however much you want. I just like a couple tablespoons to make it a little bit sweet. I have this really nice pure vanilla powder. Okay. Go ahead and take your cooled down torte, place parchment over it, and then a cutting board. What you want to do is invert it, lift the cake pan. Make sure you don't forget to take off the parchment that we put there. And without squishing the cake, invert it onto what you're going to serve it onto. Place your whipped cream in the middle. outside of the cake. You know we have the bottom parchment covered. Then what I like to do is just carefully go for it. Try that at home. Okay, then you go ahead and come back. Gently peel off the parchment. Now our ganache is coming along nicely. Still not quite fully melted, but it's really close. Make sure it's all homogeneous in one nice temperature, and then let it cool down until it's the perfect clinging consistency, so it just clings to the outside of that chocolate torte. So right when it's just nice and just a little bit warm and barely pourable, so it'll coat nicely to your torte. Move a spatula around so it just falls over the edges everywhere. Any spots that you missed, you can go ahead and move your spatula and create a little flow while it's still warm. And if you have to, you can always come up the sides with a palette knife. Then you go ahead and let it cool. The chocolate cake?
Yes.
What do you think?
It's good.
Does it look good?
Yes.
So later, after your nap, we'll cut it and we'll have berry sauce with cake and whipped cream.
Thanks, Daddy.
And you're welcome.
I have a nap.
Want to have a nap now? Okay. We're going to put down some of the fresh Berry Coulis here and do a little sauce design with full fat yogurt in a squirt bottle. So I'm putting down 3 spoons on each plate. And the cake has been in the refrigerator for about an hour. It's nice and set up. Your choice of design. We'll do a few for example. Want to make sure the yogurt is the right consistency, or can get thick and not look as nice. Let's see. And I've put my knife in a bowl of warm water to warm it up so I can cut right through the chocolate as I'm doing my swirls and hearts and zigzags. It's important that you have a hot and dry knife, so you can leave your knife in a bowl of warm water. This size torte is 12 pieces. So what I like to do is cut it in half. When the knife is warm, the chocolate doesn't stick to it. You can go ahead and rewarm your knife after every 2 or 3 cuts. You can go ahead and dry it off. There it is. Dessert is served. Nicely wedged.